What is going on, everybody? So it is currently midnight. I just got done with a 4-hour live stream on Bleacher Report, doing a whole entire day to the draft. So I am beat. So I'm gonna try to get this video out real quick for you guys, just giving you guys an overall synopsis of the Jaguars picks that were made today. Now, to be completely frank with you guys, I am definitely not like a draft expert. This is kind of a layman's kind of view on not necessarily like these prospects and what I think about them, but more so just the who and the why. Okay, like why did they make the pick? What kind of role will they fill for the Jaguars, and what this means going forward. So the Jaguars started off by drafting Mason Smith from LSU. Okay, so they draft first two picks with Brian Thomas Jr. and Mason Smith are both from LSU. And when this pick broke, I think a lot of Jaguar fans were upset because that's what Jaguar fans do. They get upset about as many things as they kind of can. But with this one, the main reason why I was upset was because what people were upset was because it definitely felt like a reach. Mason Smith was, when you looked at different boards out there from like ESPN to CBS, and PFF, he was kind of down the rankings. Okay, so from that perspective, it definitely looked like a reach to get Mason Smith, but this might have been a guy that a lot of NFL people were higher on than actual like analysts. And with this one, I mean, it's a typical Trent Baalke type of draft pick. I mean, traits. The first thing they said is, "What do you like about him?" Trent Baalke mentions his size and his weight and his height and all that kind of stuff. So you can kind of see a little bit of the motivation there. But, with Mason Smith, look, defensive line is a need. Let's be real. And the Jaguars were getting out physical a lot really toward the end of last season. And it was crucial to be able to get a developmental piece there for the Jaguars that can, he's the guy that can contribute day one, but also a guy that isn't that you're not going to force to be in a starter role in year one. But with him, the main thing about him was he suffered a pretty bad injury in 2022, and that kind of made him be at about 80 to 90% in 2023, but now he looks like he's 100% a full go. And when Trent Baalke's kind of talking about him, he's talking about different traits for why he drafted guys like Eric Armstead and DeForest Buckner. And he even said that they did, some studies of Chris Jones and what kind of traits he has. And, Mason Smith is a guy that could potentially be that. And they might have got a discount from him because if he had been 100% in 2022 and 2023, maybe he is drafted a lot higher. So, with Mason Smith, he does get a role immediately for the Jaguars, and definitely fits a need for the Jaguars. And, we'll just have to see about that. Now, if you guys want, I'm sure there's some film breakdowns out there if you guys want to kind of take a look for yourself. But, overall, I'm just going to kind of let it play out kind of like how I would do in years past and, just hope for the best. Now, the next pick, Jaguars finally went cornerback, okay? I know Jaguar fans were just, the whole entire time were like, when are we getting cornerback? When are we getting cornerback? And that's another reason why a lot of Jags fans were upset about going Mason Smith in round two, because it's like, look at all these cornerbacks on the board. Why do they go with Mason Smith? And we all know day one, it was kind of like when I was putting out polls, it was split 50-50 between who wants a wide receiver and who wants a cornerback. But the Jaguars kind of found their guy. They found from FSU, Jaren Jones. And they get a player that, they have a very specific need for cornerback. They don't want a guy that's good at zone coverage but can't play man. Look, the Jaguars are going through a complete scheme change, okay? And it's very much known to be kind of a man coverage type of thing. So they want to get a guy that's good in man coverage and good in run support. And that's what Jaren Jones is. He was a formerly played wide receiver, converted over to cornerback. And, he's a guy that Doug Peterson says he can play inside and outside. And I'm not sure if he's going to necessarily start week one, but I imagine that they're going to give him every opportunity they can to allow him to start over a guy like Ronald Darby. So, with that, they were kind of saying maybe he projects better as a slot cornerback, which I'm okay with because slot cornerback is very important in today's NFL, and it feels like it's getting increasingly important every year with, slot receiver. There's so much attention on outside boundary wide receivers where, sometimes these guys can slide inside and they create mismatches, especially when, these teams are putting so much money on outside cornerbacks and they kind of, leave the Trey Hernans on the interior and, they do their work from there. But, if you get a good nickel cornerback, that elevates your defense a lot. So, with a guy like Jaren Jones, we'll see how this one plays out. But, I think everybody's happy that, it feels like the big time holes on the roster, really the main two were, of course, the, cornerback and wide receiver. Those two are filled up. I say, going forward, just keep getting big guys, okay? We haven't gone offensive line yet. We have 2 picks in the 4th round tomorrow, 2 picks in the 5th round. Would like to see the Jaguars throw some picks at, some offensive linemen, some interior guys too, and, start really building a foundation there. And, start trying to find guys that can learn a little bit behind Mitch Morse and Brandon Sheriff, which I think would be really good. But regardless, the Jaguars wrap up tonight. No trades for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And, when you look at this, I would say already that this day 2 of the NFL draft was better than the last 2 years. And the main reason why is because they actually drafted positions that made sense. Okay. Last year, getting a blocking tight end and, an RB2 didn't really make a lot of sense. In 2022, yes, drafting a center made sense, but, drafting a third linebacker, when you just paid Foye Oluokun and he just traded up for Devin Lloyd in the 1st round, drafting a linebacker and Chad Muma didn't make sense. Look, defensive line makes a ton of sense. Cornerback clearly makes a ton of sense. And let's just hope that all this works out. They definitely went traits today, but, here's the hoping that these picks do work out. So with all that said, thank you guys for watching the video. Please drop a like for me on your way out. I will not be, tomorrow my coverage will be a little spotty. I got some things to tend to on Saturday, but I'll be definitely by the end of the day providing you guys with some kind of recap and, continue with the content throughout this weekend. Appreciate all you guys so much, and go Jags.